everybody. It's me, Juniper Blue Mystique. I am your ascension master, master healer, and divine guide. And I'm going to give this with a little bit of a disclaimer in that who I am and what I've done is not normal. I don't just bring the ascension through by healing individuals. I did it by changing your planet and healing people too. So I am a master healer. I am an ascension master. And it took me 3 years to bring about the ascension. And I've done things that I didn't even know existed, and that are a lot to fathom and process. And so when I talk about them, it can be hard to understand. Excuse me. And so I may come out of the blue and just talk about Jesus and Mary Magdalene and uniting them because I did. That was the resurrection of Christ. And it sounds kind of off the wall. And I think because of the shock value of the things that I talk about, people may sometimes not stick around long enough to pay attention and to look for the proof in what I talk about and these amazing things that have happened to us all and that are affecting you. And so it is kind of worth understanding and getting to know about it, right? And so I'm going to do my due diligence in bringing this information, but I'm hoping that I do it in such a way that people are open, right? And so that's my little disclaimer. Please understand the things I say are very different. I activated pyramids. I freed Jesus' soul. I united Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which is uniting the twin flames, which the twin flames are very near and dear to my heart. And so today is Thursday. I'm going to do a twin flame message. I'm going to try to do these weekly on Thursdays, sometimes every other week, but it will be on a Thursday. This is just tuning into my twin flame energy, the twin flame energy of the collective whole, the collective soul. But on this day, 222, I saw 111 and 222. Today, I'm also seeing a little bit extra. So I'm seeing the energy of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And so I want to talk about this a little bit, okay? I want to talk about their story, and then I'm going to pull some cards, which is why you see this lovely setup, okay? So these candles are my twin flames and mine if I ever get to meet him. I don't know. And they are the ones for Jesus and Mary Magdalene. My twin flame and I were supposed to be the ones who united them. So we were supposed to light these together. I made these handmade. Spirit was like, make these candles for your twin flame. There's actually 3 in total. One is his personal one, and then these 2. And I'm like, what are these for? And I saw the vision of lighting them when we come together. And then I realized that we were supposed to unite Jesus because Christmas came, and they're like, do this. And so I did this, and it was uniting Jesus and Mary Magdalene. It was a meditation I did live on YouTube. You can actually watch it. It was done on Christmas this year. I knew what the Holy Grail was. I had to clear it. So I find it kind of funny that it was my favorite glasses that I made the candles and that were to light and unite them, and then we were supposed to drink out of them together, like on our wedding day. That's what I see, and I still see it. And in truth, the Holy Grail was not a cup. It was a contract written in Jesus' blood. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is forgiveness. Forgiveness of the twin flames. Because Jesus and Mary Magdalene's story was quite unique as well, just like my DM and mine. And a lot of people don't understand the totality of it. The totality of the amount of unconditional love it took me to unite them. That is the real love of God and of the One. And I had to stand in the center of the deep blue sea, which is El Diablo. It's like going against the darkest of darkest energy and being strong enough to withstand it and unite everything in love. And I succeeded. But I didn't succeed without sacrifice. Okay, I didn't succeed in that journey without a huge sacrifice, and it was a very big sacrifice. It was a very painful sacrifice, and it was one of my own soul, my own DM. basically in this journey took his own life. I could say that, even though it was God who ripped his soul out. And that's not funny. And that's on video too. On August 30th of this year, my DM died. He succumbed to the fallen angel energies. Got a black hole in his heart through the journey. But through that journey, there was a lot of love between him and I. And people didn't get to see that part because he didn't express it outwardly. It was only felt on the inside. And so my DM and I, my twin flame and I, met over 2 years ago. My whole life transitioned around after my Kundalini awakening, and I didn't know why it did that. I had no idea about twin flames. I had no idea about Jesus and Mary Magdalene being a twin flame, 555. I had no idea what any of that meant. When I had my awakening, though, and I was on my journey, I knew that was going to become a thing. We were talking about that. We were like, what does it mean for Jesus to return? And I kept saying, Jesus is not going to just come out of the sky. Like, that's not happening. And I'm like, I don't think I'm Jesus. Like, who am I? Because I'm bringing about the ascension the whole entire time. And so it was always a question. Now I know. And I didn't realize it was through the twin flames. So I kept saying my twin flame and I were to unite the twin flames. We're supposed to unite the twin flames. And I thought that was solely just all the twin flames, right? That are connected, the 144,000. My DM was the leader of that. Well, anyways, in this journey, he died, and a new DM got his soul. So there's a walk-in. I have a walk-in, and I can feel it. I felt a transition. I felt a passing, and I've had to mourn and release and transition from one soul into the other as well. It also affects me. And people don't understand that. And so my journey is not normal. It affects me on this channel. It's affected me the whole entire time. And most people are just like, they get into judgment and they leave or they judge, which hurts us all. And so I ask, don't do that, right? It's a very unique journey. It's very real. I can't deny it. Not only have I experienced it, I feel it. And it's been very, very, very painful. I've sacrificed so much on that twin flame journey. So much. And yet, even my new DM didn't make it on Christmas. And he was supposed to come still, right? He was supposed to still unite with me on Christmas. They've been calling my DM. We energetically connected, my twin flame and I, over 2 years ago. Now, I'm pretty sure. We energetically connected through our chakra systems, through our DNA. Christ's light was coming through us in a big way. That's who we are. They have attributed it back to Adam and Eve. I still question that, though, because it is a real journey. Like, am I really that? Like, who am I really? Who am I that gets to be the one to bring together Jesus and Mary Magdalene? Who am I? I mean, there's been other beings who've tried that, but not other beings who have activated the pyramids. I'm the only one that could do that. And so that just tells you. And they've told me I'm part of the gods of time. And then they also compare me to Adam and Eve. And that's all I've gotten so far. And it took a long time to get there. At first, they were just like, you're Pleiadian. And I'm like, oh, I'm an alien. Yay. And it took me like 6 months to digest that. Because I was not spiritual, let alone, cared about aliens or anything. I mean, I've never not been a not believer, right? But it was just never my focus. So all of this has happened to and through me. And as I've gone, I've learned everything about it. Okay? We didn't really know what happened to Jesus. We didn't really know how he died. They convinced us he died on a cross for our sins, and that's not true. So what really happened, which is weird because I've talked about my DM and I. My DM has killed me in Atlantis, and I don't know if I've ever killed him. I don't know. But here's the story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene a little bit clearer. So Jesus was murdered by John the Apostle. He was given arsenic or whatever I had said in my video. I did it through a workshop. I saw how he died. I had to process his death. So that's why I do these missing persons, and I talk about that. I don't just see how they die. I process their death. I do a life review on them, so that's who I am, right? They get a life review through me. When we die, we have to do a life review. A life review talks about what we learned. It goes into the Akashic Records. It records every lesson, every karmic cleanse, every not karmic cleanse, blah, 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 what we may have done in that moment in time. Okay, everything from changing DNA to blueprint, everything that happens to you, which is why all the work I did has been recorded in the Akashic Records the whole way. Okay, so that's what happens. So when I actually see people die or talk about how they died, I get to do a little bit of that if it hasn't already been done. Because when we leave pieces of ourselves behind, even that piece has to have a life review. Okay? So when I was just doing a workshop for my Patreons. This was like on August 6th or 7th of 2022. No, 2021. August 6th or 7th of 2021, right after my birthday. We were in the mountains. It was in Skagway, Colorado. That's where the person that was with me at the time, who I'm no longer with, but wanted me to go. He was like, we got to go here. I'm like, okay. And so we went there, and all I knew, I was doing my workshop, okay? And the next thing I knew, I see Jesus, and I'm like, but he's alive. And all of a sudden, I'm visualizing his life the way he was when he was alive here on this planet. I saw what he looked like. I saw what he was wearing. I described it in there. And I went kind of fast because I was just doing my workshop. I go as everything goes through me. I don't sit and process. It's like a master thing. I just go. I don't think, And so I did go fast. If anything, I wish I could go back and slow that down. But I didn't make this up. I didn't know it was coming. It's on a video. It's in my Ascension playlist. You can watch it. All of a sudden, and then I saw him, and he was starving. He was like very hungry. And he was tattered. He was very dirty. He was hungry. And I would say it was Jerusalem. I really would. Israel. Jerusalem. That time frame. Anyways, that's like the area he was. It was like very red sandy. And his clothes were like dirty. He had these sandals on. His feet were dirty. His hands were dirty. His face was very scruffy. And he was just very dirty. And his skin was like tar, so it almost looked like it had way too much sun, you know what I mean? Like, they are out in the elements, but not just sun, like wind and sand damage. You know how wind would blow the sand and it would become like little, like, would hurt. And I feel like that was his condition. And then the next thing I know, he was so hungry, and John the Apostle, I kept saying John the Apostle, was standing right in front of him. And he gave him bread and wine. And Jesus at the time was hesitant. He knew something was wrong. John the Apostle was supposed to be like his best friend, his right-hand man, somebody he should be able to trust. And Jesus was like, something's wrong. He knew not to drink it. And I remember this because I felt it. I was confused in my own mind, but I'm so hungry. Because I was living through him at that moment, seeing what happened to him. And he did it. He took the bread and he took the wine. He was so hungry and so thirsty, so he took a bite of the bread and he took a drink of the wine. And then within seconds, the pain began. The pain was so excruciating. I felt every bit of it. It took him, what I would say, about 20 minutes to slowly die from the inside out. So the poison was like I always get, because I'm not channeling it right now, I can't ever remember. I talk about it in those videos. It was hardcore. It was hardcore. Cyanide. It was hardcore. And they weren't sure which one he was going to do, so there was poison in both. So he took the poison in the bread, and he took the poison in the wine. So basically, he had enough to kill a few people. But his insides started eating. It's like being eaten from the inside out. I could see it. I felt it. So imagine your whole intestines just starting to burn up. They were being eaten. And this is what happened to Jesus. So then he started bleeding out of every orifice, including his pores on his hands, the pores on his face, his mouth, his eyes, his nose. Then, come to find out, I didn't learn this until recently, this Christmas, when I united him and Mary Magdalene. He was never drug on a cross. The only thing I could ever say about a cross is that after he was killed, if they used one at all, it would have just been a makeshift thing to drag him across the desert floor. That would have been it. There was no cross. Don't bring religion into this. The only way religion is brought in is the darkness of the religion itself. Okay, so be very careful and be very mindful. So then they took Jesus's blood. So Mary Magdalene came into play. Now here's the thing. So when I was reuniting them and healing it. I didn't get a lot into detail into why she did what she did. And so I still don't know to this day what elevated her. She says manipulation, fear, and heartache. So she was extremely vulnerable, completely shattered. I don't think she knew Jesus was going to die. So it's almost like we were duped. We were put into this situation. And then when he was murdered, it was like it ripped her soul apart. So she couldn't see clearly as it is. And she was also very scared. And it was very, very painful. And so that's kind of how it happened. Okay, but Mary Magdalene, took Jesus' blood. So she was wiping it off into this cup. Okay. This is the story. This is what I'm getting right now, as I'm getting the visual as I'm talking to you now. She was and I'm right here. I'm just right here. She was wiping his blood into a cup, so the blood that was coming from his eyes, his nose, his mouth, and she was crying. And I see a fire. There's like a fire. They're like in a cave, so they did take him from where they killed him somewhere. Then they burned him, I think. Not good. So, she took the blood. She took the blood in this cup. And that's where the cup comes into play. But it's not a good thing, okay? And then she gives it to John the Apostle, but also to the fallen angels. And they wrote this contract in his blood, in Jesus' blood, which makes so much sense, because about a year ago, after I freed Jesus' soul, when I saw how he died, his soul didn't go up, by the way. It went over into the Garden of Eden and he became a flower, which was intriguing because I've never seen a soul do that except for Jesus's. Most souls go up. If they belong, right? They go up. After I free them, they go up. And then we do the life review type of thing. But not his. His went sideways and into the Garden of Eden and became the most beautiful white flower you've ever seen. And so I just wanted to reiterate that. But, so they took Jesus' blood. Mary Magdalene did it herself. And she said not because she wanted to. She really felt like she had to at this point because Jesus was already murdered. So I feel like almost like she drew him there, but I feel like she didn't know. This was all like they were manipulated to a big time degree. Okay? And so this is why I want to talk about forgiveness for the twin flames, because you guys don't realize what I just went through either. So when I united them, I had to purge all of that. And I took on the DM light because my twin flame didn't show up. And so I wasn't supposed to do that by myself. I had to have the masculine energy with me. And that brought all of his addictions and everything back into my system. And I've been hit hard with imbalance. Okay. But not only that, I was also purging. And so I felt very, very sick. I had to purge all of this. Okay. I had to filter all of this through. Because I eliminated it. I've cleared it, I've healed it, I've eliminated it, and we united Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And this is very important. It really, truly is. So this is a twin flame message for all twin flames. If you want to know the origination of the twin flames and what happened for the division and why it was so hard for us to unite and what karma we've had to cleanse and all of that, it's all right here for you. So in Atlantis, my DM pretty much killed me. I wasn't strong enough. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, it kind of is on both sides, right? Like it really is. They made sure to hit both sides, and they made sure to rip apart all twin flames. And I remember back in August, over a year ago, not this last one, but the one before, when my DM and I energetically united before he took off. I remember there's a guided meditation on my channel in the Ascension playlist. If you pay attention to it, it's on there. So the first ones I did, I was like, oh my gosh, and it came through, and it was to unite the twin flames. And I saw you guys seeing these connections, seeing their soul, like it's basically watching their soul start to mend, start to come back together from the ground up. And mine and his did that. And it was very euphoric and very painful all at the same time. And so I know the pain that the twin flames have had. I know the separation. I know the love. And I fought very, very, very hard for it. Very, very. I don't think you guys understand what it took for the resurrection of Christ. It was a massive undertaking. It was a lot to process. It was a lot of pain to feel. And I was still purging it after this Christmas when I united Jesus and Mary Magdalene back together, the resurrection, and I undid that holy grail because they took the blood in the cup and they wrote a new contract in blood. This contract was a ritualistic thing, okay? This is what allowed them to keep the twin flames apart. This is what allowed them to keep all the darkness on the planet. Basically took God's power. So the fallen angels came down, killed off God, killed off the twin flames, killed off the light on the planet the best that they could, most of it. They didn't get it all, obviously. And used this contract in order to solidify that. And that is why everything that I undid, it was piece by piece by piece over the last 3 years. It's quite a bit of a journey. I started with little things, and then clearing Mount Shasta was a lot of dark souls there. Salem had a lot of dark souls there. Uruguay, I had to raise the vibration there. I lightning struck Ghana because that is the headquarters of the Illuminati. I picked all the GMO farms a few years ago. Like, this is where it started, okay? And then it ended. Well, and then in there I was activating pyramids, which all of them were females. Rose Atlantis, had to clear that karma. And then I was clearing all the collective and individual shadow. That was very painful and very, very difficult. I was attacked by more than one fallen angel, so I should have died. I should have not made it. Even the spirit didn't think I was going to make it, you guys. We had to come up with like a new timeline, or 2 or 3 or 4, they said, because it was hijacked. The ascension was actually hijacked, and you guys are not even aware of that. Most of you are not. And so that's the reality of the journey, the ascension, the processing and the healing and the path that I have been on. And it took me a lot. I sacrificed a lot, and it was very, very painful. And I used to be so beautiful. Oh my gosh, my body was banging. And I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't try for that. That was me naturally. And I took a hit through this journey. Oh my gosh, like, I have sacrificed so much, so much. And what sucks is that instead of people doing the research and going, oh my God, this is what it is, this is who she is, this is what's happening, what a blessing to see this, let's jump on this train, right? Where are we headed, right? Let's do this, we're in this together, kind of an attitude we get. Oh, this is conspiracy theory, this is crazy, this isn't real, and it sucks, you know? It really does. Or judgment, like, oh God, does she have to be doing this again? So when I united Jesus and Mary Magdalene, I didn't realize that I was not well. I was feeling very ill afterwards. I took on the DM light again, which is not good on my vessel. It kind of really pisses me off. Although I was like, I just want it back because I know I'll do the job. And again, my DM didn't show, right? But I want to heal this relationship. So, you know, there might be a guided meditation coming soon too. I can kind of feel it in the energy to help heal and forgive, to bring major forgiveness and healing into Jesus and Mary Magdalene, into all of the twin flames, and into unconditional love. Okay, and that's really where I'm at with this right now, is with all the damage done in the twin flames and with God and with this earth and with what happened with the fallen angels, because that is the story. That is the reality. And they would use this blood. And then you think about church. They would have you go to church and sit for communion. And you would drink and you would eat that bread and wine. And little did you know that those are part of the ritualistic behaviors to keep you on Satan's side. And that is truly it. They're putting darkness into your soul. And they would tell you you'd have to be equal parts darkness and light, which is not true. It's masculine and feminine. This is a reality. This is the reality of what they've done to you and what's happened. They ripped apart our souls and our identities. They took away the masculine and feminine aspects. They brought in a false goddess to dupe the masculine, and then basically a false masculine to dupe the feminine. And then just turned everybody against each other, and they keep having you do all these ritualistic things that keep you in the darkness and not able to see the light. And I want to heal it. And I didn't realize that I was purging a lot and healing a lot after I united Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And so I did go into a major negative space. Plus, my DM just won't show up for me. And by golly, I just don't understand why. Because I need that love. And he needs that love. We need that love. We all do. The true love. It's true unconditional love. And yeah, I can go have anybody else I wanted. I could go be with Sean right now if I wanted to. This was the guy I was dating before. But the love, my soul, my life, my soulmate, my heart, my husband, my life is my DM. We have a contract, but even, let's take away that. So a couple years ago, or over a year ago, when I energetically combined with my DM, we also signed a contract. They went from the karmic contracts, which we had all signed before we came here, to contracts of love and light. And I undid the karmic ones, which means I cleared all the karma, and I rewrote all the contracts for union and love and light. And so all the karma is cleared, right? And so we should be uniting with ease and grace. And it didn't unfortunately happen that way, because the fallen angels really got my DM in this lifetime. And they did it through drugs and keeping his vibration down. And I didn't know what was happening, and so we didn't get to him in time to wake him up in time. And he ended up with a black hole in his heart in the end, but then he still made the own decision not to come back. And so if you can tell, there's a lot of heartache, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of turmoil between the twin flames. There's a lot of, it's very painful. And in truth, it's the most beautiful relationship you can ever imagine. And I know this in my heart because I have felt it more times than not. I am already combined with mine. I can make energetic love to mine if he knew what we were doing yet. Which he hasn't quite gotten there yet. But he may be working on it at times. I don't know. But that's the thing about twin flames, is it's such a powerful connection that my DM and I are energetically combined so much so he can manipulate my chakras. My old one, like, you could give each other orgasms through your chakras and stuff, and we are one of the only two that can do that. There's a few that are that strong in the connection, but very few. Mostly it's just being able to feel emotions. You affect each other with your actions, so you mirror each other, and then music exchange and things. And then also just depending upon the gifts and abilities, they'll have a few more in telepathy and stuff, but like my DM, it's very strong. Okay, our connection is very, very, very strong. He doesn't know a lot yet because he was just born on August 30th. It's funny. I have to make that funny, otherwise I wouldn't be okay. I want you to imagine losing your soulmate twin flame. He dies, and then his soul goes into another one, and you're having to grieve one and open up to loving and getting to know another, because it is still part of him. It's weird. It is one of the weirdest stories. And don't judge. See, people want to judge, but you don't understand. You don't understand the intensity, the connection, the depth, and it's hard. And you can look at it as like, she's a master. Why can't she get it together? This is not an easy journey, my friends. Okay, the reunion of the resurrection of Christ and the twin souls and my twin flame and I. It's not an easy thing. And now I'm housing both lights, and I shouldn't be. And it's really hard for me to get balance like that. So I have to really just hone it in. But here's the thing, is I was really purging. So there was a lot of pain, a lot of muck I had to clear when I united them. So if you watch the video from this Christmas, the resurrection of Christ that came through, that's when I learned about the Holy Grail and what it really was, and why the cup is there and everything, and what it all means. And I had to undo that, and I did. I undid it. But you guys don't realize is I don't just simply undo them. I have to process them through my vessel. So I used my vessel to process all that. And I was not in balance, and I was not quite processing it out, because I was still trying to deal with the transition of taking on the DM light and my DM not showing up, which broke my heart, and I ended up hating myself for a minute. This is real. And then when I got back in balance and I cleared my head and cleared my system, oh my gosh, the purging began. I was like, oh, holy crap. I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. I felt so sick. I was shivering and sweating and just purging my body. I don't even want to get into it, but I was purging. And I realized that what I was purging was everything from Jesus and Mary Magdalene's union. Everything from the muck that they picked up and the karmic that they had to cleanse. And as healers, you'll hear me burp and energetically vomit, things like that. We purge. I used to just sweat profusely, like I would, my first healing sessions, oh my gosh, I was so glad nobody could see this, right? But I'd have to go immediately take a shower because my clothes would be so wet, like they were dripping. I would sweat so much, and I'm like, come on, Spirit, there has to be a better way. And then I went into burping, and I'm like, oh Lord, now I'm burping in front of people. I don't know which is worse. Although if you go out in public and do a session, you don't want to sweat like that either. So I'd almost take the burping. But there's multiple ways as healers and true healers that we purge. Okay, true healer will purge it. If you're working with somebody and they don't show signs of purging at all, they may not be a true healer. They may be going through a book and just walking you through something, and in truth, they're guiding you to your own healing. And so in truth, they may not be doing anything. But if you go with somebody and they start burping and doing these weird things, don't freak out. They're really helping you. And so, it sucked because somebody ended up judging me through that. And it was very painful. And so I purged a lot. I really, really did. And now I'm to the point now where I'm like really saddened about it. I'm sad about what happened between the DMs and DFs. I'm sad about everything that I've had to heal and clear, but I'm not just sad about it. It's not like I'm just, ooh. I'm also getting to a point where I'm ready to bring it into so much love. You know what I mean? Like the healing is there. It's the forgiveness. It's the time of forgiveness. It's the time of acceptance and forgiveness for the totality of the situation at hand and what happened to God, what happened to the planet, what happened to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and what happened to Eve and Adam. Why people don't care about them so much, I don't know, but I do. You know what I mean? Like, it's all relevant and it's all a big deal. And I want nothing more than to have this relationship healed in the entirety of what it is. And I want to be with my DM. I want to give him the best life he's ever had. I want to make up for all the lost love from time, back to the beginning of time. And so if my divine masculine, my DM can hear me, I'm asking for that. Can you help me do that? Can you help me come together and make up for everything? And I want to be the best that I can be, so that you can be the best that you can be, so that we can shine love through completely and unequivocally, undeniably, and be the rulers, the king and the queen as we're meant to be. I want to heal that relationship. I want to bring that back. Okay? Me. My DM. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to understand. But I can see her with that cup picking up the blood. And that's why they would somewhat tell you the truth, but they would also lie to you. So the Holy Grail, they would say, was the cup. It had nothing to do with the cup. However, I wouldn't put it past them still using the cup for profit, right? Like, oh, Jesus' blood was on this cup. You can heal from this. And little did y'all know that he took his blood and wrote that contract. And as I was stating before, is a while ago, when I was bringing down Christ's light, before I resurrected Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Jesus did a blood cleansing. So I used his blood and I brought it back down into the crystalline grid. This makes so much sense to me now, to the entirety of the journey that I've had and what has come through and what is happening. It really, truly does. Alright, what do we need to see for the twin flame journey? How do we heal this love and bring about the forgiveness and to make up for all the lost love and being duped from the beginning of time, because there's nobody in the world who deserves this love more than the DM and the DF. There's nobody in the world who deserves this recognition more than him and I. And I want my baby. I want the love of my life. I want him to feel free to be with me. There should be no fear between the two. There should be nothing but healing, love, and light. And forgive me for purging what I was purging, right? I was becoming negative in that, and that is my heartache. That I would never want to do that, ever. Because in truth, I love him more than anything, and I fought very hard for the DM and DF, and I would never want my masculine to hurt, never by the words of mine. And so I actually set that out to heal that. I undid those, and then I realized I was purging all of that darkness. Okay, and that's what I was talking about. There's like psychic attacks going on. There was a lot going on. So, it's all about forgiveness in the entirety of the Twin Flame Saga, from Jesus and Mary Magdalene to Adam and Eve to God to our brothers and sisters who are twin flames. Okay? The hole in the soul. The hole in the soul. This is a big deal. Hole in the soul. Right? We have a hole in the soul. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. There's a huge wound where we have hurt our own self so bad. We have let others dupe us and make us think that love didn't exist, right? Love didn't matter. Or they would confuse us on what love was. Like, there's been a lot that has happened over time. And if you guys are thinking, oh, this is why didn't they just see it? These are gods. Like, this was Adam and Eve. This was Jesus and Mary Magdalene. All right? There's a hole in the soul in the twin flames that goes back all the way to that time. And people want to look at me like it's my fault with my DM. But it's not. I've actually been the one clearing all of this and trying to heal all of this. And I get to heal that final wound. We're going to heal that final hole in the soul. And that's what I want to do. And I want my DM and I to do that. I don't know if he wants to. And here, these cards are actually very beautiful. Look at this. Hole in the soul. And it's time to let go. And you can see all that darkness behind. Look at the what looks like a pyramid back there. Like, there's a lot here. Letting go. It's just time to let all of that go. It is just time to let it all go. Because let's just say it's healed. Okay? Let's healed. Let's fill these cups with love. I still want to light these cups. They need to be lit. It's healed. Let's let it go. We need the courage to shine the light, okay? Find that courage to shine the light and let go of what has happened on the Twin Flame Saga, okay? Let's let go of what has happened and have the courage to shine our light in love. You see her? You see him? Let the world know who we are. Let the world know where we belong. Let the world know we are right where we've always needed to be now. It's okay to come together, to be together, to let go what happened to the twin flame soul, to God's soul of unconditional love. But the thing is something came in to rip them apart. But guess what brought them back? Unconditional love. Unconditional love of my DM and I is what brought their souls back together. Unconditional love from my twin soul and I is what brought Jesus and Mary Magdalene back together. And that is what I want to rise. So let's have faith. Have faith that no matter what was brought against it, unconditional love held it together and brought it back. 222-6633. 246-369. This is interesting. Have a little faith in me. Yeah, that song's in my head now. You know what song I'm talking about? So have a little faith in me. I like have a frog in my throat or something, so I'm not singing it very well, but put your loving arms, baby. And then guess what the final card is? And the numbers in these cards are insane. Phoenix rising, 32. Okay. We are rising from the ashes. We are rising from the ashes in love and light. We are rising from the ashes and make everything all right. My DM and I survived what should have ripped us apart, what has ripped many apart for many years. It has hurt. It has left a hole in the soul of the twin flame saga, of the twin flame union, of the twin flame energy. We are two souls that walk amongst the earth, split apart. So it's one soul split in two. That's the best way I can say it. And so when you rip those apart, when those damages were done, it left a hole in the soul. Okay? It is time to let all that go. It is time to let all that go because we were able to see. We were able to have the courage and the strength to see what needed to be seen, to feel what needed to be felt, and to recognize what needed to be recognized in order to unite the twin souls again. And we did it. So now it's time to have faith and courage that everything will be all right, and to let go those holes in the soul. And that is how we will rise from the ashes and fill them with the utmost respect and love and light. So, no matter what happened on my journey to my DM, who did hurt me quite a bit, and in the end I may have accidentally hurt my new one, that has got to stop, and it will stop, because it's already been a lot of healing, and that's what people don't realize. Okay, people don't realize the damage that was done, the hole that was in the soul, what it took to unite those and clear that. It was huge. It was unequivocally, the fallen angels came down and said, screw God, basically. We need God's light to survive, and we'll have it. And that's how they did it. Because without that light, they're nothing. They have nothing. So they fell from God's grace through ego, and they thought they could take his power. And they did it by separating the twin souls. Because there's no greater power than love. There's no greater power than unconditional love and union of the souls. That is God's light. That is God's armor. That is the rights of us. Our power, our love is so great that they did everything in their power to separate that. And it took everything in my power, which was so much strength, I don't think you guys realize, to bring it back together. And now, I want to give so much love back into the twin flames, into my DM. I want to love him so much. Even though he's just been born. I hope he wants to love me the same, because that is going to help fill that hole in the soul of the twin flames. Okay? That is what I want. That is what I want. That is what I want. I'm unequivocally so. So, from this day forward, I will do nothing but fill it with so much love, and so much love, and so much love, and so much love, and so much respect for the sacred union that it truly is, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's a sacred union. It's a sacred bond. It's a very powerful bond. It's so powerful, the return of Christ. It's so powerful to have that love, that those fallen angels did everything in their power to take it. And they didn't win. They thought they did. They thought they had it. And then they thought they were going to change everybody from that light. They were taking everybody from God's light. That was their thing. And it didn't happen. And before they even knew it, some female came in and said, "What? and in 3 years' time undid what took them lifetimes upon lifetimes to undo. And I fixed it, and we have united the twin souls. And so as we fill it with love and forgiveness, and have faith and courage, and allow the unions, allow the twin souls to rise into a rebirth. Just love. It's love that's needed. It's love that's needed. It's love that's needed right now. It's love that's needed to repair the balance. It's love that's needed now. And I would love to give that love to my Dan. You know? I can keep giving it to myself. I mean, I'm carrying both lights. If that's how he wants it. But I don't know about you. I'd want some of that loving. You know? 555. We can do this. Now we're going to rise in love. The rapture will go out with a bang of love. Okay? They tried to take away the love and the light, and that is what is making everything all right. Like, that's not a joke. I think that is the most beautiful story in the world. Darkness came in and ripped the twin flames apart, but it's unconditional love that brought them back together. Meaning no matter what the darkness got them to do, that love never faltered. My love for my DM never went away. Ever, 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 ever. Ever, 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 ever. Ever, 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 ever. Okay? So there's third-party interference that needs to go away. We're looking at stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility, and abundance. Keep a positive mindset, manifest exactly what you want, gratitude, and bliss. Okay? Third-party interference, it needs to go away. Stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. Okay? Be flexible. Come on now. And then there's lots of abundance. So this is your soul's purpose. There's contracts to it. It's like, stop being duped by what isn't love. Okay? We must allow love to rise. We have to choose love. That's the point. In the Twin Flame Saga, we have to choose love. That is the resurrection of Christ. It was brought back through love. We must choose love. Till next time.